well handled. But I think, for example, I mean, I'm a big fan of Margaret Hodge, and I think she's, a fantastic, I hope she doesn't take this word wrongly, but battle axe on behalf of public opinion and so on. And I absolutely sympathise with her view that BBC people are vastly overpaid and that they shouldn't get payoffs like this. But if their contracts say they're entitled to them, the law is the law. And I think...
Entwistle's contract did not say he was entitled to 3 years,
were advised...
he was entitled to 6 months. Clapton agreed it.
They
What
were
sort of democracy is that?
They were advised that they had legal advice that strongly implied
Which
that if you took them to... Well, yes, absolutely.
Why did, Christina, on that point, the £450,000 payoff to George Entwistle, wouldn't it have been in the BBC's... Now, with hindsight, we can say it would have been better for the BBC to pay him the minimum and then fight him, because at least that would have put the BBC on the right side of the argument, would it not?
Well, that may be true, but I mean, but people talking about people being overpaid, they do have to observe the law, and I think some people are talking as if they can just forget those contracts exist.
You're talking about employment tribunals, not the criminal law.
Yes, the employment tribunals.
Andrew, do you think the BBC could ignore that and just pay him the minimum?
They should have paid him the minimum, and I quite agree. Let him go to court. What would the court of public opinion have said about Entwistle, who was a complete disaster, walking off with that sort of money and being paid money by the taxpayer for legal advice, a year's health insurance, and being paid money for public relations advice? His public relations advice was disastrous.
I know, it was disastrous. The whole thing was disastrous, but it isn't the law of public opinion that would make a decision.
It's contract law, Christine. And he was entitled to 6 months' money, and the chairman of the BBC overrode that and gave him a year's money. It was a scandal.
Okay, so here's a question for you both, which you don't have to disagree on. There's a new guy coming in. His name is Tony Hall. He's run the Royal Opera House brilliantly by all accounts. He's got a situation where news is run, as Mr. Paxton was saying, by Helen Bowden, who presided over all this, and the others involved are all still in the organisation. Andrew, you're Tony Hall. You come to the office. What do you